Hi people, it's Archivist here, hope you're doing well, and today I have yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel video for you. In this one, I'm going to be demonstrating how to effectively use a synchro-oriented deck. As we're making this video, we are in the middle of the Synchro Festival, so you might be able to apply some of the tactics I use here to that. You can either attempt to replicate the deck, and I will, of course, leave a complete list of the cards in, I guess, the pinned comment or the description under the video somewhere. Or if you can't create the deck, there is a loaner deck based around Stardust Dragon that is really similar to this. So a lot of the plays you see here, you can also do in that deck, just with slightly different cards, right? So let's begin by considering what we need to do first. We need to do the first of many synchro summons, and we want to start small and build up. So the first card we want to consider will be Junk Speeder, and you'll see why once I summon it. So to get Junk Speeder, we need to get to level 5 with a tuner and a non-tuner, and thankfully in the hand I have one of the best cards in the deck, Junk Converter. So I can activate its effect, and then I can target one of the tuners in my hand. I'll choose Stardust Synchron, and then I can Ash Blossom will come up a few times here because I'm going to do a lot of effects. But then I can select a card from my deck, Junk Synchron, and then I can normal summon Junk Synchron, whose effect activates, where I can bring out a low level monster from the graveyard. I'm going to choose Junk Converter, and then I'm going to summon it. So now we have a total of level 5s between a non-tuner and a tuner, and we'll go to our good old extra deck and we will select Junk Speeder. So here we go, and when I summon Junk Speeder, I'm given the option to summon a combination of tuners, but they must all have different levels from each other. So I'm going to choose Junk Speeder first, and then also Junk Converter, which can bring back a card from the graveyard. So I'll just choose Junk Synchron. And we'll just put him over here. And then from the deck, we get to choose a whole combination of cards. So I'm going to go with Stardust Synchron, Cyberse Synchron, Satellite Synchron, and let's go with Quickdraw Synchron. So we've got a nice combination of different levels, which are ideal for all kinds of synchro summons because we've got different numbers for different levels in our extra deck. Now by bringing out Stardust Synchron, I can now bring a spell or trap, but in this case it'll be a spell that specifically lists Stardust Dragon. Activate that, and we want to choose Arrive in Light, but we will not play it just yet. So now I'm going to my extra deck, and we're going to do a small step here because we need to clear the field out, and you'll see why soon. So I'm going to go straight into Stardust Charge Warrior. I'm going to use Cyberse Synchron and my Junk Speeder to do this. It's quite nice to use Cyberse Synchron because it gives you some protection in the graveyard. So the quicker you can get it there, the better, really. Activate Stardust, and we will draw a card, which is handy. And now we will play Arrive in Light. So Arrive in Light allows me to choose a level 1 dragon and place it on top of my deck. And I'm actually going to do it with one of the cards in my hand, Converging Dragon. So I'm going to just put this down here. And next we are going to synchro summon Stardust Dragon, the headliner, I guess you could say, of the deck. Now when I do this, a few things will happen. So Arrive in Light now gives me the option to draw a card from my deck, and we know exactly what it's going to be because we just put it there. And now Converging Dragon, when it's drawn, can then immediately be special summoned to the field, which is why we awkwardly put it back there, because it actually means we can go on to summon it. Now if I do this and I have a level 8 Synchro Dragon, I believe. Yep, Synchro Dragon. I can then special summon another level 1 dragon. And I'm going to choose Omni Dragon Brotaur. I can then activate the dragon's effect. This is less essential, just good for setting up later, where I can choose a card on the field and then I get to choose a card from my deck with a similar attribute. So I'm going to do this. I need to discard a card. Stardust Trail might be useful because I can special summon this from my graveyard if I tribute a card on the field, so putting it there is no issue. And I'm going to bring Doppelwarrior to my hand. Now we'll go to the extra deck, and this is the big play really. We're going to now bring out Majestic Star Dragon. So this is a card that will be staying on the field until the end of our turn, because it's a very powerful means of negating your opponent's effects and just has a strong stat line in general. Interestingly, at the end of a turn it would naturally return to the extra deck, but it's prevented from doing so by Arriving Light. So Arriving Light does become a little bit sensitive in this regard, in that if they get rid of it, your Majestic Star Dragon does become a bit vulnerable. I can activate this effect now to special summon a tuner from the hand, and I'm going to, well, to be honest, I'm not sure if I needed to do that strictly speaking, but just because I don't want to do it to Ash Blossom, I'll just choose Stardust Synchron and put it down here. And now I'm going to go to my graveyard and see what I can do. So if I then activate Stardust Synchron's ability to tribute a card on the field and special summon it, I'll just use another Stardust Synchron here. Like so. This will then provoke Stardust Trail effect, which can then bring it to the field. So we'll do face down. Now this is great because now we've got 4 and 4, tuner and non-tuner, so we can bring out Stardust Dragon. But then again, I'm actually going to consider not going for Stardust Dragon in this situation. I might go for Clear Synchro Dragon because I do find it to have a particularly powerful negate effect. So if a monster which is level 5 or higher activates the effect, it can just, you know, completely negate it. So I think I might instead go for this one, Clear Synchro Dragon. So we're going to do this. Like so. And that is a pretty good place for us to leave it, I think. I've definitely gone into some crazy combos, but having a Majestic Dragon on the field and then another Negate Dragon on the field, it's a good place to leave it. So we'll then end our turn, and hopefully my opponent does at least something that is worthy of negating. Otherwise, this whole setup was a little bit pointless. So what are they doing here? Okay, I'll just... So the thing is, you got to be careful here. So while Majestic Star Dragon is capable of negating an effect, and it will also destroy all cards the opponent controls, it is also permanently tributing itself. So if you're going to do this, you do want to choose your moment carefully. So instead I'll just choose Ash Blossom to stop this one. You've got to be very careful about choosing your moment with Majestic Star Dragon. Okay, that's fine. Defense position. And then we can activate the effect here and bring it right back, which is handy. So just if you're wondering about this, this is where it wants to return to my extra deck, but Arriving Light is preventing it from doing so. So now we'll go and see if there's anything else we can do. There's also Monster Reborn, all kinds of stuff we could do here. Don't know if it's strictly necessary. Here's a cool thing we can do, Accel Synchron. So if I go to summon Accel Synchron, like so, put it in defense position because it's got very bad attack, and we'll just use Arriving Light and draw a card just to get the benefit of that. But what I will now do is lower Accel Synchron's level. So we activate this effect. I will choose Synchron Explorer, send that to the graveyard, and now I can either increase or reduce its level. I'm going to reduce it, and then that unlocks the ability to special summon Crystal Clear Synchro Dragon, which is an amazing card that I thought was very complementary to the archetype for Stardust, because it can negate spells, traps, effects, and it doesn't need to tribute itself. So while Majestic Star Dragon may immediately appear a bit better, I think Crystal Clear Synchro Dragon is overall more balanced. So having both of them on the field, you know, it's going to make you feel very comfortable. I can also special summon a tuner from the hand. I might as well just put it there in defense position. I can normal summon Doppelwarrior. And this is where you get to the point where now you're just throwing things in, but you're like, do I even need it? And we'll put that in defense position. We don't have as much space, so we won't be summoning quite as much this time. What should we go for? So this is one of those situations with this deck where sometimes you anticipate the fact that you won't be able to use both of the effects because you'll fill up the field. So if I activate Doppelwarrior's effect, I'll summon 2 tokens to the field, but then I won't be able to use Junk Speeder's effect, sorry. So I need to just choose Junk Speeders really, and then we will ignore this one. And that special summon Junk Synchron and Jet Synchron. Because then if we go to our deck, we can bring out Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And this guy is very powerful. Decent stat line, 3000 attack, 2500 defense. And if an opponent's monster activates an effect, you can destroy the monster and negate the effect. And furthermore, if it attacks a monster, I actually need to double check this one. Is it level 5 or higher? Yes. Then it gains attack equal to the current attack of the monster it's battling, so it can hit over really strong monsters. So this is a really formidable field we've got right here. Like, I don't really know too many plays that could stop this because you've got so much capacity to negate now. We can stop spells, we can stop monsters, so it would have to be a very lucrative hand that your opponent would need to take this out. So I might also just show you this. We can activate Majestic Star Dragon's effect, and we can just tell it to negate a monster's effect. Sometimes it doesn't really matter, but that's kind of nice. And also, a weird ability it's got is that as long as it would be activatable, you can actually use the effect of the monster you negated. Like, you're basically stealing its effect. That's really interesting in my opinion. But again, sometimes you're stealing an effect that isn't really applicable, which was the case just there. So I guess let's just do it now. Let's finish off the opponent. Doesn't really matter, I don't think, what order we go in. So let's go here, attack, going with Crystal Wing, and then Crystal Clear Wing just to make it crystal clear. Oh, here we go. A trap's going off, but we've got so much potential here. Let's just use its ability to shut that right down. Got to be careful not to be negating yourself. There's so many abilities to do that. So we stop that, and then we go in for the kill. And there you go. So that's a good opening hand. I think, to be honest, going second, I tend to have a very similar strategy. It's for certain, I think, a better going first deck because of all the negates. So, as always, people, thanks very much for watching and see you next time.